Welcome to UX India 2025. Hi, my name is Gaurangi and I have with me Akshay Gawali, Head of Enterprise Strategy at WPP. Welcome, sir. We are delighted to have you here, and today we are really excited to talk more about leadership and enterprise strategy and AI. So, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. Thank you so much for having me over here. And it's been an energizing 2 days now, counting 2 days and counting. We've had some great conversation on the first day as a part of the panel, right? There have been some interesting thoughts that have been put out there and have been challenged, especially by the brilliant audience that we've had there. And these are young people, like they're really young. It just surprises me that the depth of thinking that they bring to the conversation is so amazing, right? And the kind of questions they're asking is just wonderful. It's a little scary as well that the next generation is like really switched on.
They are quite
But
smart.
yeah, it's all good. It's a great experience to be here.
We are so delighted to hear this. So, what was your best experience, if you have to name it? Like, it could be the best talk or the best conversation, any highlight of the days?
From a highlight perspective, I would say that one of the good conversations that I was part of, I actually landed a little late.
Okay.
So I came in about mid-afternoon. But I was just before my own session. There was the session by Shay. And it was a really good conversation because it actually talked about the way you understand people,
Yeah.
the way you evaluate. Evaluate is probably the wrong word, to be honest with you,
Observe.
because you need to be on a pedestal. You're putting yourself on a pedestal when you say, I'm going to be evaluating this person, right? It is basically to understand and assess the capability that a person brings within a certain context. And that was what Shay was talking about,
Okay.
right? She basically talked about how designer portfolios are super polished nowadays, but the actual person who walks into the room and the kind of energy that they bring, it doesn't always sit well with the kind of portfolio that they actually started with, right? Versus somebody who is probably coming with a single pager document, right? And not a shiny AI powered portfolio. Is actually able to think and solve problems, right? And that kind of stuck with me because in my journey till now, about 17 years, give or take,
Impressive.
I've been hiring for the past 10 plus years, I'd say, in various fields, not only just design. I've had business designers, architects, salespeople. I've hired obviously designers as well, but not only designers within the faction of design. So I've hired across researchers, I've hired design managers, ops people within the design community, as well as core designers, service designers, process designers, and it's really important to understand the vibe that the person brings to a conversation, right? While obviously you need to have the basic building blocks of capability in place, right? For example, the craft that they have,
ability to learn.
the ability to learn. So one is the dimension of core skills that you bring to the table, right? That you've done what you say you've done, what it says on your profile, right? But the other is the attitude that you bring to the conversation. The ability to learn is the stuff that you do. It's really important that the person who comes in and walks into the room owns the room in a certain sense, right? The owning comes from experience. It doesn't come from a shiny AI portfolio. Yeah. And that ownership is then visible in all aspects of the work, right? From the way they deal with everyday issues, they deal with people, they deal with other team members, right? And the ecosystem outside. So you're working in an organization, and then you're working with third parties, you're working with suppliers, you're working with contractors and stuff.
Definitely.
The kind of energy that you bring to the conversation reflects itself when you actually talk to those people. Right? When you start talking like we are talking right now. Like initially when you walked into the room, we were like a bit cold. There was some ice in the middle, and then we started talking, and that's really important. So talking beyond just the profile, and that's what Shay was actually talking about. And that kind of stuck with me because I've been doing this for a bit, And I realized that, and much of it resonated with me as well.
Yeah.
And I actually pulled some of it. It was really good because I was glad I was sitting in that room, because I pulled some of those elements and I put it into my conversation with the panel. Literally a half an hour later.
Relatable.
So it was a good conversation that way. It was useful as well for my next bit.
Yes.
So it was good.
It is something like the people who are right now applying or getting into the field are just making it way too professional and they're lacking personality. Is it something right?
Well, professionalism and personality can go together.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Professionalism is not devoid of personality or the other way around.
Yeah.
Right?
Perfect balance.
But to inject your personality in the professional environment that you're creating for yourself and the professional aura that you're creating for yourself is important, because you have to bring yourself to the conversation. And that doesn't mean hardcore skills. It also means people skills. And those skills are built within different shapes and forms for different people, right? And the diversity of that skill set brings that smorgasbord of capability into the team. And thereby these varying experiences create the right kind of mix for the team. And those kind of ideas create a mature team, right?
Yeah.
Because, for example, I might be good at, say, talking to people, but not super great on technical capabilities. Whereas somebody who's supremely technical, but is not great in terms of conversational, day-to-day conversations, we can learn off each other.
Yeah.
Right? So that team dynamic is really important to build into the team, right? And that's why, and this was a talk that I was, in my panel discussion, I talked about culture, right? Okay. It's really important to build the culture of the organization. It's first of all, it's important to understand the cultural nubs bolte na.
Yes.
You need to understand how the organization ticks.
Exactly.
Right? So if you understand that very well, you are able to hire correctly for that particular organization versus another. So being at, for example, my journey coming in from Wipro, which is a service integrator, going into JP Morgan Chase, which is a storied, biggest bank in the world, and then coming into WPP, which is like one of the world's biggest marketing agency. The culture differs at each of these places, right?
Definitely.
And to get the fix of that, to get the understanding of that culture, and thereby be able to hire the right kind of talent in the organization is really important. And that's why I think, when it comes to attracting talent, it is important to wrap your head around the organization's mechanics and then contribute.
Yeah. You need to be first clear what you are looking for.
Absolutely.
And then only you can actually look for that thing in the other person.
Absolutely.
So that brings me to know more about your journey. From where you started, like what exactly made you get into design, and like we would also want to know about your Wipro journey to JP Morgan and then to where you are right now at WPP.
Sure. So Wipro as a system integrator, I joined it back in 2008 or something like that, if I remember correctly. And the leadership at Wipro didn't know what to do with us. Like, you guys are MBAs, you guys are business people, you guys are not technical? I was like, no, we're not technical. All right, so can you learn coding? And we just flat out said, no, we can't learn coding. And then the alternative was, there's a new upcoming field, UX. You want to try this? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? We're open to anything. We're open to experiences. So that's how I got my first HFI certification.
Okay.
Did a training with them and Human Factors International.
Yeah.
So I got the first certification from there, and I became a true blue UX person within Wipro. And I was like the standout cool kid on the block. What AI scientists are today in the ecosystem, right? I was the cool kid. And I was massively in demand. Like, every project within Wipro were like, oh, we want a UX person. We want this guy. So it was a good experience. It was a nice place to be in. It was all wanted. People were like pushing and pulling me. Yeah, mini celebrity, exactly. And that was the heyday. Then reality hit. Okay. Then it was all about various aspects of learning within the UX ecosystem. So one aspect is that you get the certificate. The other aspect is actually you apply those learnings within the real world, right? And that's where when you actually get selected by a customer and you go through the interview process, and this is the system integrator and its customer, right? So you go into the ecosystem and then you learn the customer ways of working, and you hear new things that you have never heard before, and you need to wrap your head around those things. And you talk about prototyping, you talk about user research, you talk about testing, user testing, and all of this you need to apply now, right? Yes. And that's where rubber hits the road. So cold water of reality hit me as well. And then I realized, okay, I have to start experimenting. I have to start to diversify. Just within the UX field itself, I have to start to diversify, right? Just being a UX person from a tooling perspective is not enough. You got to know, you got to understand research. You got to understand personas. You got to understand journeys, what they actually look like, and how do you kind of put it on a board. How do you conduct workshops? How do you influence stakeholders? They don't teach all of that stuff. That only comes with experience.
Cool UX stuff to the main theory, boring stuff.
So those are the practical challenges, right? And you learn all of this, theoretically. I'm not just talking about UX. Even nowadays, from a AI ML perspective also, you're learning the basics of it, but application of that in the real world,
definitely,
that's where the challenge comes in. So yeah, that was the initial part of the journey. Then metamorphosed again, did a bit of business analysis, because I had that hat anyway, so the multi-hatting as well. And it was more of situational change and adapting to the situation in that environment. Right, that was what I learned from that phase of my career, in terms of saying, okay, we need a project manager for this particular project.
Yes.
Can you play this role? Yeah, of course. Why not? We're going to do it. One of the things that I've learned is never to say no to any challenge. Never to say no to any challenge.
You never know.
Say yes and then learn it. Yes. Say yes and then go and try and understand, wrap your head in. Fine, you'll fall a couple of times. It's okay.
Yes,
but the learning that you'll have will be invaluable versus something that you didn't put your feet into.
The experience.
Yeah. The experience. Even experience of failure teaches you not what to do the next time around.
Yes, we have that very famous phrase, 1,000 light bulbs just to get the final
for the first one that lights up. Yeah. So yeah, that's true.
The whole ride of adapting, transitioning, learning. So how you got to...
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. So this was just the Wipro experience, by the way. About 14 years, learning, unlearning, unlearning, and then adapting as well, right?
Oh, quite a ride.
Yeah, of course. And then there was the experience within India, within other geographies. I was in the UK for a bit, with multiple customers over there as well. Okay. And that taught me a lot, and from there onwards, then family happened. And then my son is about 7 years old now. Nice. And I did feel that culturally he needs an upbringing with his extended family. So that's where the decision happened that I'd come back to India.
Roots.
Come back to the roots, yeah. And JPMC was hiring design leaders at that point in time. Okay. So that's how JPMC happened. And it was a good challenge because JPMC was looking to build design teams in 3 locations: Mumbai, Hyderabad, and Bangalore. And Mumbai was absolutely, there was nobody there from a design perspective. And I was literally the first one. I walk in and like, what? And then we started hiring over there, and we got all kinds of people. The team's kind of grown to about 25 odd people now. Okay. I've left the organization's post, but yeah, it's grown really well. And
they're still your people.
Well, I love them. So there, in fact, some of them are over here as well, and it's like a homecoming, right? Like meeting with them,
reuniting with them.
It's really nice. It's really nice. And then there was then I felt I was kind of ready for the next challenge, and I was talking to my peer group, and somebody mentioned about this interesting AI-powered marketing platform, marketing operating system is what they call it, which they've kind of launched in the market, about 80,000 users on the platform. Okay. And we need to basically transform the ways of working of the organization, transform how the experience of the platform is built up. And that sounded like a massive challenge, and that excited me as well.
Yes.
Super scary, by the way. but yeah, like my philosophy: don't say no to anything. Just jump in. Just jump in. And that's what I'm doing. So I just jumped in. It's about 2 months, and I'm still jumping.
So how are you liking it over there?
It's good. It's really good. It's as I said, it's a new challenge, right? A new challenge comes with its own with its own issues, right?
Yeah.
And what I was talking about in the beginning about the whole cultural alignment part of it.
Yes.
It literally starts from there. So yeah, I'm actually in the process of cultural alignment, understanding the lay of the land, understanding the stakeholders, understanding how technology works, understanding the mechanics of how people work, understanding how their approval processes and their workflows work. So it's a whole bit of wrapping your head around the monster before you can start slaying it.
Right. So it's like you have done it all. You have been
I wouldn't say that, but yeah.
you have been into kind of creatives, into design, into strategy, into business. So like how do you differentiate a design like a design leadership from another like a business leadership?
There is no difference.
No difference.
To be honest with you, there's no difference. At a point, when you come to a point, it is about creating the right kind of ROI for the product.
Yeah.
Right? And that ROI is a function of the strategy that you're building.
Yeah,
the strategy that you're building is not just a design strategy.
Yeah.
It's a product strategy. It's an architectural strategy, right? It's a change strategy. It's also a people strategy, right?
Yes.
If any of these pillars fail, your strategy fails and your ROI doesn't show up.
You ultimately need cash. I mean, that is the whole point.
That's the whole point of it. But it's a joint effort, right?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
So while you bring the design leadership to the conversation, there are other people who are your partners, peers, who bring the other thought leadership to the table.
Yes.
Right? And all of these needs to be joined up.
Collaborative.
Yeah, it needs to be joined up. It needs to be joined up.
Yeah, joined up.
Right? If it's not, then the strategy is going to fail.
Yeah, definitely. You need to actually, as you mentioned earlier, that while making the team, you need to have everything, like the different pieces of the puzzle, and then you actually at the end get the whole view.
Correct.
So you need to have different people, even just to make the whole environment.
Yeah.
Because same kind of people will make it too boring sometimes. You need to have those fun elements also.
Definitely, diversity is really important. And when I say diversity, it's just not male versus female ratio or any other ratio for that matter. Right. Diversity is also people coming from various aspects of experience. Like
exactly.
Like when I remember when we were hiring for teams within JPMC, we had folks from the LGBTQ community.
Oh, great.
We had folks from the defense community.
Okay.
We had folks who obviously have worked in the financial services space, which was the core requirement as such. But we had folks from all across, right? Like all kinds of diversities. We boasted of all kinds of diversity within the group, and that is amazing. I found that to be I found it to be a miracle, to be honest. It was a really great experience working over there, and these experiences enrich the whole, enrich the team, right?
Definitely.
And that's why that diversity is important.
Yeah, definitely. So like if we could just bring along how AI and how your leadership, like the design leadership with AI is getting along together in WPP.
Like I said, AI capabilities are sitting on the platform today, right? And it is supercharging the way we are building, marketing campaigns, essentially campaigns, whether marketing, media, production, any kind of campaign that we are running for our customers. And the supercharging aspect is literally coming in from say 6 months to create a campaign to about 2 weeks, and with a fewer people, right? So it is definitely game changing, right? And the golden aspect of the ROI is definitely on the table, right?
Right.
Is why the organization is putting all its resources behind the platform to say this is the future of the company.
Yes, definitely. That was such an amazing and insightful conversation. Now, like, what all points you would like to tell the younger generation who are getting into this field right now? Any like pointers, tips, or the mindset shifts that could help them in future?
I think I mentioned some of them.
Yeah.
Embrace change. Be comfortable with change, right? Be
Just jump
comfortable
in.
with discomfort.
Yeah.
And jump in. Say yes and then learn it. Say yes to the challenge, and then find the resources to learn through the challenge and solve the challenge for
That
yourself.
is so true. That is so true. Sometimes you just need to do it, because otherwise, sometimes what happens, you do it and then you get to know that, okay, I could have done that. I can do that. So that is something so important. And to just bring a conversation towards the end, we have a rapid fire quiz.
Okay.
Wherein I'll be asking you a few questions.
Okay.
You need to answer them in just one word.
Okay. For the record, I'm not prepared for this.
It's all right. It's all right. So these are going to be really easy and fun, obviously. So describe yourself in one word.
Stoic.
Oh, nice. And just a follow-up question to this. What would be the one animal you could relate with? You could call yourself.
A lion.
Oh, impressive. So what's one book or movie, could be anything, you find very inspiring?
One book or movie that I find inspiring is that's a good question. I really can't put my finger on it, but I guess it's The Matrix.
Okay. Okay. Nice. So what's the best part about your workday?
Getting off work.
Yes, that is so true. Nothing can beat that. So what do you love about UX India, if you have to put it in one word?
The energy of the youth. I already mentioned that, right? Like
Optimism.
the young folks who are coming in, the amount of intelligence, energy, and curiosity that they bring to the conversation is amazing. You don't see it everywhere.
Definitely. Thank you so much, sir, for taking in the time to talk to us. And it was a very wonderful chat.
Thank you.
So much fun and so much insights.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.